The EMA is pioneering, taking a pioneering role in adaptive licensing, so I'm sure we're all keen to hear how it's going.
Thanks very much. I was instructed by Dwayne to speak on two things, and he said, everybody knows here what adaptive pathways is, adaptive licensing, don't start at 101. So I was tasked to speak about preliminary experiences from the EMA's pilot project, very preliminary, and then speak about what is my wish list in terms of tools, and I'm looking particularly to the gentleman to my right here, who's representing the IMI. What do we need? So let me start with our pilots. This is still early days. You know we put this out earlier this year. An invitation, basically, our first worry was we send an invitation for a party and nobody comes. That fear has not materialized. The industry did come forward. We're very grateful for that. We have now, I think, 29 or so, and it changes, live assets that they have come with. We're looking at those. We're discussing with them. So it's still early days. We have not gone into the weeds with any of these products by now, but a few early learnings. Very few, actually. First, I would say and this is a personal position, this is not an official EMA view. I am somewhat disappointed, and I repeat saying that we have not exhausted our creative intelligence so far in those pilots. I would have thought that you use the safe harbor environment, to design scenarios. What if the effect size is above 80%? What if the effect size is below 20%? What will be the path forward? Will we have decision nodes? Will we have chance nodes in there? We have not gone to that. So everything now that we're still talking about is very linear. We first do A, then B happens, then we do C, etc. Only we forget that B may not happen, or maybe happen very differently. So I think we can take this to a higher level of complexity and, dare I say, creative intelligence than we have yet done. But this is early days, and I hope we'll get there. And the second is really just an observation. It should not come as a surprise to anybody. The majority of these products, as again, unsurprisingly, are not for primary care use. These are products that, if they are successful, will be delivered by some highly specialized tertiary care centers. And that will have implication for the learning, and I'll come to that in a minute. So that's where we are now. We will talk to those companies whose products have been selected, and we're hoping to spend time with them, not just us, the regulators of the companies, but we're counting on certain HTA bodies, payers, we're counting on patients to be around the table and move this thinking forward. Now, Christmas is coming. If I had a wish to make, what tools do we need to enable this adaptive pathways? I would have three things that I wanted in my stockings. Number one has to do with uncertainty. And by the way, allow me an observation. The word uncertainty was a no-go only 3-4 years ago. There were a lot of people in my camp who were very nervous when we said there is uncertainty around regulatory decisions, which was never true. There always was uncertainty. But now this has come to the fore. I think this is a healthy process. So you spoke about the uncertainty, Paolo, that is a difficult issue for payers, and I totally agree, and you have to come to grips with this as much as we do. But I would say there is another party who has to swallow, literally, uncertainty, and that is the patients. And if you ask me what level of uncertainty should be acceptable at a given point in that pathway, then all of us may have different views, and whose views should count. And I think it should ultimately be the view of those who take the drugs, who reap the benefits, but also incur the risks. So what I'm hoping to get is a patient engagement tool that will allow us, in a reproducible, transparent way, to gauge patients' willingness to accept uncertainty at a given time in that process. So we need the endorsement from patients, not one, not two, but a representative body of patients with a disease to say, yes, we are behind that decision to allow this product on the market. That is one stocking. The other stocking is about data generation. And both my previous speakers here to my left spoke about data generation. You said we need to track this. You spoke about registries. I'm in total agreement with all of that. But I hark back to what I said before. This will not be the classic pathway for these products. Primary care, then secondary care, then tertiary. It will be the opposite. These products will be launched in tertiary care. And the challenge will be to link data from those hospital silos back to the primary care. And I understand that in many places in Europe, we are having a challenge, to say the least, because hospitals operate in their own electronic data systems that do not communicate with the world out there. So if I could make a wish, I would shift ever so gently the focus of that data generation agenda that we have, and rightly have, to hospitals, to tertiary care centers. Get those hospital data and make them useful for better use. And the last stocking of my three would be filled by another tool that I would call something to stimulate our thinking. And I again come back to what I said before. In these debates we're going to have, we need maybe technical help. And this is about a model, and you will hear later on from Mark Trusheim, who's sitting up there, who will introduce you, I believe, is that right, to a model that could help and jog our memories and stimulate our thinking and get our creative juices flow in designing a pathway. We have said adaptive pathways is pre-planned. This is not haphazard. We're not reactive. We want to be proactive. Now, that is more difficult in a group than you would think. We have done these discussions, we have quality time, but we're not always as productive as we could be. So my third stocking would be filled with a model, as you will be hearing from Marco Similar in a couple of minutes. Thank you.